Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm back. Survived COVID. Glad to be here. Going to have a good time tonight, I hope. And I'm glad you're here to join us. We're going to try to make Mondays great. Let's count down till the live stream begins.
Just buying that software isn't what makes the difference. You've got to learn to use that tool, just like you've got to learn to use your high-end Powermatic woodworking tools or Festool for Sedge out there.
So I think you got to kind of leverage all of it.
And I just realized this is a new camera. I didn't take off the protective plastic over it, so I don't know if that was blurry or not for you. Oops.
Oh, hey, look at that.
In your little intro, which was very well put together, as I was sitting backstage and you had all these little clips from your previous guests, there was lots of good information in there, but somebody mentioned, just finding that thing that you love and do the thing you love. Don't make things that you don't like making.
In terms of growing a business, especially a business where you make things, is make the things you want to sell. I want to say Brad Rodriguez said this many times a while back, where it's like, if you don't want to sell cutting boards, stop making cutting boards. If you want to sell tables, make some tables and sell them at a loss if you have to, just to get some tables out there you sold. You attract clients that you can show you've actually made a thing. If you're trying to sell couches, don't keep making coasters telling people you can make couches. Make some couches.
A lot of times, usually when people start out on YouTube or when they're building a YouTube channel, they'll feel like their energies, if it's a scale of 1 to 10, they'll feel like they're at like an 8 or a 9, and they'll be like, woohoo! But then when they actually watch themselves on camera, it's actually more like a 2 or 3.
We do take sponsors, especially as a lot of the smaller channels. And there's two ways that they talk about sponsorship. Sponsorship is someone paying you to do something, and the other one is getting free tools and stuff.
Launch day is my favorite day. That is my favorite day of the week. I just absolutely love launching videos and getting the feedback. So yeah, that's most videos take 4 to 5 full days to make. And I would like to streamline that. I would like to put out more videos in a week.
It's really kind of sad because I didn't get involved even when he was doing the noodle boards. He pretty much did all that. I did everything in the house so that he could stay in the shop a lot.
I am a little conflicted, I think. It initially started off with just sharing like my sewing machines and sewing tips and stuff like that. And then it kind of morphed into sharing the Mastering Mayhem merch items that I was making. And then along the way, I kind of shared some DeWalt tool and obsessions that I've had.
Hats off to Ira. I mean, I can't imagine doing it with small kids. That's a lot of work.
Well, this is a little chaotic, so.
My part really didn't start until Live Edge started. When we started Live Edge, I don't know, I felt different about everything. It felt real to me. I think everything started feeling real to him, after the first few months because he was in the shop. It didn't really feel real to me until Live Edge started. And now I see this as my future too. I don't think I'll be a teacher much longer.
Because I wasn't quite niched enough, but I think because my channel name is I Don't Even Work Here, I think I'm just going to roll with.
I'm going to put out some shorts for Stage.
One thing I'm good at probably more than anything else is business and understanding the way businesses work and how to run a business. And I always come at from very much the money ball approach. I don't want to hit home runs. I just want to get on base and get on base and get on base.
And I think it's easier for people to look at my story, for example, or anybody like in a similar story and think that was an easy decision. And I can't state how much that was a very hard decision for both my wife and I.
I like the premise of doing a tool review, comparing two tools, and especially if they are popular tools.
You can make the life you want to, you can make the business you want to, whatever it is you want to make.
It wasn't like YouTube's good and this and that. Like I was still pretty new to YouTube and didn't know that was sustainable long term, and so it was a gamble. And I'd worked for a long time to get in the position I was at, and it was a very, very hard decision to basically give that up for potentially the rest of my life.
I never even considered the second channel. I just think all of my content needs to go where I am.
It's a lot of risk and fear, but moving through those deliberately.
There's a system to it, and you follow that system.
So what have you learned and done to try to change? And so that's the thing I always do is it's a continuous process of evolution.
Scheduling and trying to edit and get a video out, like it's really hard to follow exactly. If you do that and do it consistently, it'll generate views.
Interesting. A lot of times you might see channels or businesses that are frustrated because they're not growing, and you look and you realize that for years or dozens of iterations, you look at the most recent and you go back a few years or a few dozen iterations and there's zero change.
I'd like to see channels evolve into more of like a channel, like we're traditional like TV channel, where you have a channel, but there's different shows within that channel. And, you know, you could have the segment for your shorts or your live streams and your longs, you know, all these different things. And people can kind of just pick and choose what they want to watch.
And my goal isn't to get the most views on YouTube. My goal is, you know, to provide confidence, inspiration, and knowledge through entertaining and engaging content. So
what's the next step? What is the next thing? What's going to get you to that next place?
You got to get them to click. You got to get them to watch. I'm terrible at thumbnails. I hate doing them. I would stress so bad over doing them. I've actually hired somebody else to do them now. That's why they look different. I'm not doing them anymore. I took that out of my hands, and I'm stress-free on that part.
Another thing is also onboarding people that are better than me at something. So I have an editor I've been working with for about 2 years now.
One day it just kind of hit me that, okay, I watch a lot of these videos and I obviously find value in them. Why can I not be the person on the other side of the camera, right? Providing the content and the information.
With me being a business-minded individual and trying to make sure that I'm providing for my family, but also always growing.
Our audience smells authenticity, and whether or not you're enjoying what you do very easy.
I'll always be that individual that loves YouTube, that always wants to do extremely detailed videos on how to build.
I feel like the biggest challenge is probably getting yelled at to put on protective.
I'm still focused on my woodworking. I'm focused on trying to get better. I just want to try new things and break barriers and just be the best woodworker I can be, and then document that. I just don't really have the time or desire to really become a student of YouTube. So I'm always playing catch up. I'm always just doing the best I can to get the most out of what we're doing, but I am no student of YouTube, that's for sure.
A good plan of attack is to create a channel on YouTube or an account on YouTube that you don't have any ties to. You've never watched anything on there, and just start watching content you're interested in on that channel. Don't watch the news, or don't click off and start watching, you know, the latest episode or whatever. Just use that account strictly for that, and that'll kind of start jumping up what's being surfaced to people, and then from there you can kind of,
you know, as far as equipment goes, and I say this adamantly all the time, there is nothing I've ever made that I couldn't make by hand. You know, and I have a skill set that I've developed that I could make it by hand. Does having a CNC make it faster? You bet it does.
The big change that I've seen is that people have gotten even shorter attention spans than normal. So if you are going to start a YouTube channel and you're going to start recording yourself working, keep the pace really, really fast. People get bored super quick, and when they get bored, they either start tapping those arrow keys to speed through the video, or else they'll just drag the slider across the screen so that they can speed through and skip to the end and see what you've built. But if you want to engage them throughout the whole video, you've got to keep the pace really, really fast.
Basically structure your channel so that you generate more views. They watch one video, they're going to watch the next. If you look, and you can tell the difference I can see it in my analytics. I can see it in the way my channel's structured.
The first thing that I would recommend to anybody, and this of course applies to any niche that you're looking to start a channel for, is before you even take the first steps in terms of researching and all that, which we'll talk about in a second, I would have a really honest conversation with yourself about what you're looking to get out of the channel and what your expectations are.
As a rule of thumb, post-production takes 6 times recorded footage length. Not shoot time, but recorded footage length. So if you record a 5-minute clip, it's going to take you a minimum of 30 minutes to edit that 5-minute clip, even if you only edit down into 30 seconds, because you have to watch it, then you make some notes, and then you watch it again, you make some cuts, and you watch it again, and then when it fits into the timeline, by a rule, you're going to see that same clip roughly 6 times.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Hey, everybody. I am back. COVID couldn't keep me down. It tried, though. So I was out for multiple weeks. I can't remember because of work conflicts. And then I went on vacation and came home from vacation with COVID-19. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So that was Thursday was 2 weeks, and I just tested negative for COVID yesterday. So I am back into the swing of things. We don't have a guest tonight, but we're going to try to have some fun. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Let me know if you are having any issues seeing or hearing me. I've trying to improve my background. So we've got a wooden flag represented here. I haven't carved the stars yet. I'm going to get to that. I carve each one by hand using a tool, like a rotary tool, like a Dremel, but it's not a Dremel. Hearing you 5x5. Thank you, Damon. Hey, AJ, great to see you. 413, great to see you. PJ Barker, thank you for being here. Everyman Builds, it is great to see you. 2 Elm Builds, and the Dad Cave, I see all of your comments. I have missed you. Let's try to make Mondays great again. We're going to try to do something a little different tonight, and I hope that you will enjoy it. First of all, let me show you J&5 Custom Woodworks. Awesome. Thank you for being here. So I'm glad to be back. I'm feeling much better. Not 100%, but I'm getting there. So I really appreciate all the good thoughts and prayers and patience as you've been waiting on the live stream to return. So thank you very much. I'm going to open it up tonight. Anybody that wants to join me for a few minutes, if you want to join me on video or if you just want to join on audio, I'm going to put the link in here. And if you want to join, feel free and we will have a little chat. Otherwise, we're going to try to have a little fun, do something a little bit different and talk about things. I hope you saw my comment in the chat that Rex Krueger has agreed to come on the show September 12th. And looking forward to that. He has over 300,000 subscribers, some fantastic, very informative content. Comes across as a highly intellectual individual. And if you have any questions for me tonight, feel free to give them to me. I don't know if I'll have the answers. Might have the COVID fog thing going on, or I just might be hard pressed to have any answers for you. I do want to remind you that I do think the chat is where it's at. So chat it up with each other. If you do have a question, put a Q on there so I can make sure to try to get it answered. And if you have a milestone, put a big M on the beginning of your chat comment so I can celebrate with you. I am just thrilled to be back here tonight. And hopefully we will have some fun. So I've sent the link if you want to join me live. I know there's some of you that might have joined in the past. Maybe I haven't got around to inviting you. Maybe you haven't let me know that you want to be on the show. Tonight be a great time to hop on. If you want to do it on video, that's great. If you don't, then you could join just with the audio and we will talk it up. I'm going to share something here if I can figure out how to do it. So I'm going to share my screen and go over here and change this to presenter mode. And hopefully all of you can see what's being presented and can join me in some of the fun as we chat back and forth. Again, our guest in a couple of weeks is going to be Rex Krueger, and if you haven't checked out Rex's channel and you like any type of woodworking and DIY stuff, it's very, very good content. Sam's Boring Channel, great to have you here. I really appreciate it. Let's get into this. I just want to ask you some questions, and we try to have some fun with this. See if we can encourage some chat back and forth. Tonight's live stream is not going to be one of those long hour and a half live streams. We're gonna keep it tight, but hopefully have a little bit of fun. I hope that you'll enjoy yourself. And if you're not enjoying yourself, don't be too critical of me. Come back another time. We'll try something different. You can always email me some hints to marriedmanwoodworking@gmail.com, and I'd be glad to work on any kind of improvement. So a nail set is used for what? A, drive nails into wood. B, sharpen your saw blades. C, strip nails. Or D, reach into small areas. A nail set. What do you think it is? I'm seeing some answers coming in. So those of you saying that it's is to drive nails into wood, can you tell me, do you own a nail set? Is that something that's in your toolbox? I know as a woodworker, I tend to stay away from the hammers, and I like using screws for everything that I can, and I like using glue if I can get by with just glue. So what do you think? Do you have one in your toolbox? Let's see. Damon says he is to drive nails. J&S or J&5. It's a J&S Custom Woodwork. Sorry. Got you on the TV while I'm working. Awesome. Thank you. Who also gave the same answer. Sam's Boring Channel says it's A. I'm tending to agree with you. I think that's what a nail set is. J&S Custom Woodworks has one. PJ says I'm a girl, so it's fingernails. That's funny. I'm sure there's probably some kind of nail set to get the extended fingernails. I have to ask my daughter if she has anything like that helps her put on those extended fingernails. Damon says, not that I know of. You use glue, but you don't use a spreader. Everyman Builds does not like me using bare hands. He doesn't want to use his finger to spread glue. He likes using a professional spreader, and I got to respect him for that. I'm not sure if that's a thing just on his side of the water or not. No matter what he's doing, he's making beautiful stuff, because I keep the box he made right here next to me where I do the live stream. I got to figure out a way to build a little shelf, maybe put it up here where it can be seen, huh? I've got the push stick from 716 Woodcraft. I've got the keychain with the shape of South Carolina from Justin. And of course, I've got my awl here that was sent to me. All things that I keep near me because I appreciate them so much. And I actually made the flag, but I got to carve the stars. So we'll see how that goes. So let's see what we got here. Damon says the finger is the glue spreader God gave you. He gave you 10 of them. 10 glue spreaders right here. Jack, what do you think of that? You think God gave you the glue spreaders for a reason? Or are you going to continue to use the professional spreader? I got a feeling I know your answer. Let's see. Let's move on to to our next question. Our next question is a little bit different. So, would you rather use a hammer or a screwdriver? So, given the choice, no power tool, would you rather use a hammer or a screwdriver? Just wondering what your ideas are there. Anyway, I'd love to hear what everybody else has been up to the past few weeks. We went on a vacation. We went on a cruise. It was great. I think it was 5 nights. We went to 3 ports of call, had a great time. Started driving home. That's when I started feeling bad, and that's when I started getting sick. And by the time I got home, I was burning a fever. So my wife arranged me to get a test, and sure enough, I had COVID. But luckily, that's over 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing much better. All right. So Damon says, "Are we driving nails or screws?" I think you picked the form of attachment with the attacher. So if you're using a hammer, you'll use nails, and if you're using a screwdriver, you'd use screws. Sam's Warren Channel says hammer. PJ says she'd rather use a screwdriver. Damon says use the right tool for the job. I agree. Jar Maid showed up. Jesus is really busy right now, so he might not be doing a Christmas Secret Santa this year. I found out a little bit earlier. Jar Maid, let me know if you're up for reconsideration on that, or we need to find somebody else to put together that collaboration. I think that having you in the middle of that made it so much fun. I appreciate it. Rick Engelhardt showed up. Thank you, Rick. You don't worry about being a little late. We're just having a little fun tonight. It's just me. Got over COVID, so just trying to do it. Oh, Mighty Sawdust, using that hammer to get rid of your stress, a little stress management. I can respect that. 413 Furniture Build says screwdriver. The Dad Cave says, "Hey, RT, glad you're back." I'm glad to be back, brother. I have missed it. I have missed the community, and I look forward to getting back into the Facebook and Instagram feeds and find out what everybody's been up to, because I've missed so many of your videos because I've been so fatigued, so tired that if I wasn't working, I was sleeping. And so I've missed out a lot with my family the past couple of weeks, and I've missed you guys and ladies and gentlemen and all you do in the community. And it was a reminder to me how important this community is to me. I haven't been, watching all the videos that I want to watch, have been exchanging ideas with you on Facebook and Instagram, and I need to get caught up. So Damon says, if we are choosing the fastening method based on the tools we have, then I choose C, drill. Too many years twisting wires and screwdrivers aggravates carpal tunnel. Anytime that something has to be assembled that my wife buys or my daughter gets, and I realize that I'm going to have to use a regular screwdriver, I'm discouraged right away because I don't like all that turning. I want to get it done. I want to use my power tools, but a lot of that stuff is made with MDF or other material that you could easily strip with a power tool. I'm not great at avoiding stripping those out. Let's get to our next question. What's a rasp? Do you know what a rasp is? And whenever you give this answer, which I imagine most of you know, do you own a rasp? Do you use it? Because I see some videos with some people out there that are using rasp, especially for some gentle shaping, right before they might do some sanding, getting something prepared. So Sandsborn Channel says it's a long, flat, steel file with raised teeth. Damon Barber agrees. But do you have one? Do you have a rasp, and do you use it? AJ says, I do actually use a rasp. I just never show it. All right. PJ says she doesn't have one. Okay. AJ says, side note, anything is a hammer if you try hard enough. Well, I know if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But I get AJ's point too. You can turn anything into a hammer, and I've been guilty of that before. Taking another tool just to do a small job. You need the right tool for the right job. So it's essential. Damon says he inherited a couple of rasps, but I don't really use them. Okay. I think I'm in the same boat with you. I think I have a couple that were passed down to me, and I don't really use them. I just think I'm too stubborn in my ways. Just hook up the sander and just deal with it that way. But I think it's a tool that probably goes underutilized, and I need to figure out more ways to encompass more tools in my craft. Damon says, yes, I've used the bottom of a drill as a hammer a couple of times. Yeah, I've been guilty of that. So since we've been talking about rasps, next question is, would you rather sand or would you rather carve? And that's any kind of carving. So just wondering what kind of, this is tell me your skill sets and where you land on things. I tend to sand because I'm trying to keep surfaces flat, but I'm going to be carving these stars with my rotary tool, which is it's like a Dremel tool, but it was made by Craftsman, and I'm going to be doing that power carving. But I'd like to try some carving by hand at some point. There's some really neat things out there online that people are making, and I just think it's something I want to try. I may have to go to a class to learn how to do it effectively, but I think it's something I want to give it a try. Sandsborn Channel says B. Sam would rather carve, although I avoid both when possible. Hallelujah. If I could avoid sanding, that'd be awesome. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do, right? PJ says she doesn't mind sanding. Just turn the music up. And I get that. Sometimes sanding can be like therapy, if you just get into a rhythm and you're listening to music, or you just let your mind, go to another place so that you have that freedom to think about nothing or think about anything you want, but in a safe environment. You can't do that while you're operating the table saw or a bandsaw or a jigsaw. I mean, that puts you in danger. But if you're just doing some flat sanding, you can really let your mind go, and I could see that. Damon Barber says, underutilized, yes. I think I saw someone using a rasp. I might see the circumstances it would best be used and might use it. I've seen just a couple of videos where people are using them, and I think you have a case there is when to use it. When's the right time to use a rasp? And maybe I'm not the most educated on that yet. 413 says sand. You'd rather sand. Okay. Damon says, I know how to sand, but carve with what? Pocket knife, lathe, laser, CNC? Any kind of carving, I guess. I was just talking a minute ago about power carving, but get your chisels out and carve something, or get a pocket knife out and do some whittling. I mean, it's all carving in one respect or another, right? Jesus says, I hate sanding. Laugh out loud. AJ, come sand my stuff. Appalachian Heritage Woodshop, thank you for being here. We need to have you on the show soon. It'd be great. Mighty Sawdust says it's not that bad if you put music on. Just get in a groove. Damon says, well, Married Man Woodworking, you've gotten us to say we want the sand. Okay. My job is complete tonight. I got Damon to say he'd rather sand. So that's awesome. I do want to remind everyone that if you want to join and talk for a few minutes, whether that's on video or audio, feel free to use this link and come on in, and we will chat. Otherwise, I'm going to continue going down this road of asking a few questions. How do moisture and climate conditions affect wood? Is it contraction or expansion? How do moisture and climate conditions affect wood? Option A is contraction. Option B is expansion. Appalachian Heritage Woodshop, I am definitely going to reach out to you and go ahead and get that scheduled. Love to have you on here, listening to what you're doing. AJ and Damon say yes. The answer is yes. Appalachian Heritage Woodshop says both. Jarmate says yes. PJ says A and B. You got me. Yeah, it was a trick question, and you're this group is too sharp for that. Yeah. So we know moisture and climate conditions make wood do all kind of things. I could have listed other things, right? It makes it twist and buckle and everything else. It's rough, and whenever I live in the South. I live in South Carolina, where we have a lot of humidity swings, right? High humidity, and then it dries out. And so it can be rough on wood, especially whenever you leave it out there in that hot garage and the humidity gets high. Your wood will do funny things. So yeah, there's a lot of movement in wood. PJ says, it's been raining and really humid here. My front door is stuck right now. That will happen if you have a wooden door, or even the wooden casing around it can sometimes move enough to cause it to stick or get tight. And then you have to be careful not to overcorrect, because then whenever the conditions dry out, the door might be too loose. So it's definitely a challenge. Let me ask you this. Would you rather work with plywood, work with hardwood, or work with softwood? And I'll let you think about that a second. PJ says all wood, just any of the wood. If she can get her hands on it, she's going to make something out of it. I like that approach. Appalachian Heritage Woodshop says hardwood only. Gerald, I'd love for you to tell me why you say hardwood only. Sam's Boring Channel says B, working with hardwood. I understand that that is a fan favorite, as they say. Sam says, if Sam's Boring Channel says, depending on application, of course. Jarmate says plywood. Why doesn't that surprise me? Anybody that has seen Jarmate's channel would know that he likes plywood. My tools would rather work with softwood, but I like hardwood. J&S Custom Woodworks. Thank you. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, especially I have a underpowered table saw, it's contractor saw, so it's not like one of those big table saws with extra juice. I mean, sometimes it struggles getting through some woods, but it seems to get the job done. What about hardwood plywood? That's a good question, AJ. So that's going to lead into one of our other questions. So Hillbilly Chic says, I only cut hardwood with my sawmill. Everybody needs one, right? Rick says, depends on the project. Yeah. It's nice to be able to work with different woods depending on what your needs are. I've done a lot with plywoods in the past, and softwoods just because of its availability and affordability. But I'm appreciating the stability of hardwoods and the longevity of things once you make them out of hardwood. So it's a tough choice for me. If I only had to pick one, I might go with plywood. Because you say plywood, but you got different varieties and you can do different things. Let's see. Jarmaid says no joiner or planer with plywood. Hey, that's a good point. Damon says plywood equals less sanding, but hardwoods are so gorgeous. That's true. 413 Furniture says all of the above. Can't argue with that answer. Mighty Sawdust says all, depending on what needs to be made, really. Mighty Sawdust has really expanded what he's making. It's not all just French cleat walls and shop fixtures anymore. He's branching out more on his channel. So check it out. Appalachian Heritage says, since I harvest my own wood, then I have the same cost of hardwood versus softwood, and my hardwood sells for more. Hey, there you go. Hillbilly Chic says, my kiln does not get hot enough to set the sap in pine. Okay. That makes sense. I wish I had a kiln. J&S Custom Woodwork says, has anyone tried the parallel clamps from Harbor Freight? I was in there the other day and picked up a couple of them 24-inch. Haven't used them yet. Wow, y'all are talking about some things we're going to be talking about. Y'all must be looking at my notes. So, R.H. Harley Guy, good to see you too. I appreciate it. It was a rough couple of weeks, but not 100%, but I'm getting there. So I appreciate it. PJ Barker says, I have J&S. They work pretty good. So talking about the parallel clamps from Harbor Freight. All right, let's get to our next question. Here's a silly one for you. What is a C-clamp used for? To work on large projects like doors, to hold mitered corners of picture frames, or hold materials in place? So J&S, this is not your parallel clamps. We're talking about C-clamps here. Whenever I was growing up and learning a little bit about making projects, my grandfather was passing down his knowledge to me. And most of what we had in the toolbox was C-clamps. And so we didn't have parallel clamps and fast grip clamps and all this variety of corner clamps and everything. We had C-clamps, and we had to figure out ways to make it work. Then I made it to middle school. What did I take? I took shop class. And what did they show you as far as clamps? Back then they showed you C-clamps, and they taught you how to use C-clamps, and then they taught you some other ways that you can clamp work. You take a couple of wedges and you put your work up against one end of the workbench, up against a board that was held in place by C-clamps. And on the other end, you put another board, and then you use a couple of wedged boards and tap those in together, and it would pull your piece together and hold it in a clamped position while it dried. A little bit of workmanship there, to a little bit of knowledge on how to get by with old school clamps instead of the new ones. J&S Custom Woodwork says, is there a D answer? Samsborn Channel says must be C, right? Damon Barber says is the sawdust shot. Says to hold B and D together. Yeah, and J&S says all of the above. You just gotta make it work, right? You gotta figure out a way to get around that square thinking that I can just hold two pieces together. You gotta be versatile with it, and you can do a lot with C clamps. It's nice to have some of the newer clamps. Uh-oh. What we got here? Sam?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Archie?
I'm doing good. Let me stop
Yay.
so people can see you up close.
I'm so glad you're back. So glad you're feeling better. Oh, did we lose you?
No, you didn't lose me. I was letting people get the full picture of you for a second.
Yay.
Yeah, I am so glad to be back. I want to get back into the community, getting on
nice.
Facebook, Instagram. Let's get this social thing going again.
Let it go. Right?
Yeah. How is it going with Dragon's Breath? Isn't it Dragon's Breath?
It is Dragon's Breath.
Yeah. So how's it going?
It's going good. I must admit I'm a little bit sidetracked. I'm actually going to a YouTube conference at the end of September. So I'm hoping that gets me back on track. Hey, PJ Parker and Furniture Builds and Appalachian. It's great to see all you guys. So I've been a bit sidetracked. It's really crazy busy. The farmers market. I'm making a crap load of money, and I'm doing a whole bunch of different markets, and I'm getting to know my avatar better, and staging and branding and all that stuff. Yeah. So I'm a little bit overwhelmed. You know how you get pulled in so many different directions. It's like, oh, the website and YouTube and videos and Dragon's Breath, a new product launch. But I am looking into it. I'm thinking maybe I will go to Workbench.com and launch it.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That's what I'm thinking. Give everyone some free samples, a little goodie bags, instructions, and so that's the dream.
Yeah.
And you would burn on paper. Like, hello. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that is it's a neat product that I think could be very attractive to a lot of people. So I think it will do well. Have you thought about applying? I think they're still taking applications for presenters. You want to be a presenter at WorkbenchCon?
Ooh.
You got to put together a topic, maybe do a topic like launching a new product. Or
you know what? That might be a good call because it'll put pressure on me to get it done. Hey. Yeah, maybe I will. I'll think about it because I'm going to Vid Summit with Daryl Eves. I'm going at the end of this month, and that'll get me really rolling and
where is Vid Summit?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to be shipping some stuff to you. Yeah, I think I'm going to come to Texas for a couple of weeks, maybe in November. And then, I want to start getting this stuff launched in the States. So I want to ship some to you, and I have a whole bunch of requests. So I'm going to ship some out and get it up and rolling. I'm glad you asked. Thank you. And, I know you're hurting my feelings. We have a sawmill, and I heard you say you love your plywood, and it brought a tear
Hey,
to my eye. It brought a tear to my eye. I'm like, no. I
I'm
just,
sorry.
just wanted to comment. I just wanted to comment on that because, hey guys, 413. Yeah, it's great to see you guys, Rick. Um, I feel like I love softwood. I love white cedar. And I feel it's underrated. Like we have a sawmill and our main thing is white cedar. And it's fantastic for benches and outdoor furniture and decks and fences, but it's also fantastic for like uh um signs and yeah. So it's a lot of fun. I'm loving on the white cedar. So it's my
Yeah.
go-to. I always get back to it. I yeah, I've worked with a lot of woods and it's just so nice. Even the scroll saw loves it. Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
Yeah. So what's your latest project that you've made?
I've got one going on right now. I've got a whole bunch of fences or signs. Crazy dog lives here. Do not knock. They will bark. I will yell, and crap will get real. Yeah. So it's just been the market. I sell a whole bunch of snowmen, and I kind of reverse engineered it and made a bunch of beavers and bears that are really popular. So yeah, I just can't keep up. But it's all good. It's a good busy. It's good.
So
Yeah.
so how many days are you doing a market?
Well, it's Labor Day weekend, so I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna do 4 in a row. I'm gonna do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then I don't know, it depends on the weather and like the weather changes in Canada here a lot. So then my husband is doing different markets. He's going, so we're actually doing 6 because he's gonna go to St. Jacobs and Grand Bend. So yeah, so we're doing 6 markets in 4 days and it'll be good. And then I might go for a couple more weeks and then I've got Los Angeles and then I might do something Thanksgiving. Um our Thanksgiving is early and I'm thinking about going to Texas. So he'll keep going through St. Jacobs. We'll go right through till Christmas. And that's a Saturday market. But yeah, yeah. And how are you doing? What are you woodworking on? What are you working on?
You know, with between
Balance, balance.
between work and
Yeah,
then vacation and being sick,
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't touched
I get it.
anything in 6
I
weeks.
get it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
My next thing is carving some stars. I'm going to carve some
Nice,
stars.
nice.
I've got a couple of flags that I'm delivering. My wife's going to get on me because I'm probably going to give them away. But
Nice.
you know,
Oh,
but
it's great giving stuff away. It feels good.
yeah,
It's what
yeah.
we're all about.
But I'm thinking
Carving.
about
Are you
doing
gonna
a
do them in
video.
basswood? In
I'm sorry.
basswood? Are you carving them in basswood?
No, these are just pine boards right
Oh
here,
wow.
and so I draw them on and then carve them out with the Dremel, and
Oh,
um,
nice, nice.
and so they I think they look pretty good that way.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about doing a video on how I carve them, you know, because some people are trying to figure that out. And I see a couple of videos out there, but maybe my technique's a little bit different than others. I don't know. I may do a video, I may not. So we'll see.
Oh, you got to do a video. That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And when you're thinking about it, like you're already planning it and everything, the video will just flow. It'll just come right out of the RT. Yeah, you need to do a video. We all want to see it.
If I was talking or exchanging IMs with Jesus earlier about the gift exchange like we did last year,
Oh, nice.
are you going to get in that collab if we do it this year?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Is it a box or is it a certain item or?
We haven't decided. I mean, we haven't even got a group
Okay.
yet. But I'm going to reach out to the
Okay.
people that did it last year and and see if I can talk one of them into leading it up, since Jesus seems to want to get out of it.
Nice. Okay.
But last year we did boxes, so I'm thinking we'll do something different. Maybe we shouldn't do boxes every year.
Yeah.
But we'll do something fun. I like
Nice.
collabs.
Yeah.
And it gives me a deadline to work towards.
That sounds great. And I might slide mine out when I'm in Texas, so the shipping doesn't break my bank account.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
international shipping.
Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. Yeah.
Let's
queue up another question. What's going on?
Let's get a question up there.
Let's get another question. Get the audience going.
All right. Where's my next button? Okay. Would you rather use Harbor Freight clamps or make your own clamps? This kind of leads into the question I saw in the comments earlier. Would you rather make your own or use Harbor Freight? I can tell you what my answer is real quick.
Okay, what's yours?
Mine is use Harbor Freight clamps, because that's what I have is Harbor Freight. I've seen the others; they look nice, but I think it's like flying first class. And once I try it, I may not be able to live with my Harbor Freight anymore. But I like the Harbor Freight clamps just fine. They do the job, and they don't break my bank account.
I'm all about that. Us Mackenzies are cheap. Love me some Harbor Freight. Haven't been there in 4 years because I'm from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go to Los Angeles, I'm flying out of Detroit. So I'm going to hit up some Harbor Freight. I'm going to hit up some Menards. Yeah, I can hardly wait. So I'm going to get some Harbor Freight clamps for sure.
Yeah. PJ says A. I assume she's talking about Harbor Freight clamps. Jarmate said Harbor Freight. J&S says some Harbor Freight clamps are pretty good. Hillbilly Chic says probably go with the Harbor Freight. 413 says Harbor Freight. And Damon Barber says Harbor Freight. If you need them sturdier, add wood inside the empty space. I use the black squeeze clamps. That's a good idea, and I've seen that online. And one of the representatives at our local Harbor Freight, whenever he saw me buying the set, that's what he told me. He's like, if you put a strip of wood down here, it firms them up, and they'll last for years and years, and won't flex. So I think that's a great idea. JNS says I have Harbor Freight clamps, but I did recently purchase 2 Bora 50-inch parallel clamps. Rest of them are Harbor Freight. I did 2 videos on my YouTube channel. I reviewed the squeeze clamps and the aluminum bar clamps. Yeah. I don't see anything wrong as long as your expectations are matching the price of the clamp. If you think you're going to spend $12 on a clamp and have it be the same quality as $80 clamp, I think you're fooling yourself. But if your idea is that you need to squeeze 2 or more pieces of wood together with some glue in between, I think Harbor Freight clamps can get the job done. So
I'm not going anywhere. I just I set my alarm. I set it like obviously an hour too late for this show. So I'm just going to go shut it off. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. Here's a question that doesn't have an A, B, or C answer. What famous fairy tale character is made of wood? Can you think of a fairy tale character that's made of wood? I bet y'all will get this pretty quick. JNS says they get the job done for sure. Sam's Born Channel says, not sure what Harbor Freight is. Haha. Living in my screen jump. Living in NZ and all. So NZ is New Zealand. So Damon says, I'm not going to buy a Porsche and drive to work when a Ford or Chevy will do the trick.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $100 on a clamp. Yeah, me. That is yeah, it's tough to swallow that. Whenever that credit card bill come due, it'd be tough to swallow those $100 clamps. All right, so Damon says Pinocchio. PJ Barker says Pinocchio. JNS says Pinocchio. Sam says yes. NZ is New Zealand. Thank you, and thanks for watching. That's Harbor Freight is a store. It's hard to describe, but they sell a variety of tools and knickknacks that seem reasonably priced, that are not the brands you normally see at your big box stores. So they have some tools which are good, and professionals even go there and use them. They sell everything from tire jacks to electric fly swatters and a whole bunch of tools in between. It's an interesting store model if you ever get to see one. But they sell a variety of woodworking clamps that are much less expensive than the ones you can find at a big box store like Home Depot, Lowe's, those type of stores. PJ Barker says, can't spell it though. Pinocchio is hard to spell, right? That's why I didn't put it as an option, because I didn't know how to spell it. Damon Barber says, I'm a real boy. Lincoln Street says, hey, RT, good to see you back. Brother, I am glad to be back. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. PJ says, Harbor Freight has good sales too. Yet, never buy anything at Harbor Freight at the regular price. If you just can wait a few days, there'll be a coupon. If you sign up for their coupons, you'll get them. I know they have a club that you can join, so you get like 30% off a lot of items. But a lot of times you can get 20% off or more on a lot of items. Sam's Born Channel says, it sounds like a great place. Going to Google it now. Damon says, Harbor Freight is a great place to buy tarps and safety gear like glasses, earmuffs, plugs, floor mats. Yeah, they have some items like that which are hard to beat on the price, and it's a decent quality. I mean, I've got some of their tarps that I've had for years, and they hold up just as good as ones that cost 3 times as much, in my opinion. I haven't done a scientific study yet. Maybe I should. I even made a video about one of their tarps, actually, back early on. Let's see. Let's ask another question. We only have a few more. Oh, here's a good one. Would you rather have a jointer or have a planer? And the reason I think this is good is because I've seen this answered in both ways, depending what channel you watch and what they're making. So would you rather have a jointer or a planer? How about you, Sandy from Mackenzie Lumber? Which one would you rather have if you could only have one?
We have a sawmill, so we use that planer every day. Yeah. The jointer, we barely pull it out. Maybe once a month if it's lucky. We did joint a couple of things this week, but that's unusual. Like even if we're doing fence boards or deck boards or anything, we even like squeeze them together and do the edges. Like we really just do everything with a planer. And and my grumpy lumberjack has a lot of planers, like a lot. He has a lot of different ones. Yeah.
Have you ever seen on Blacktail Studio, whenever he takes those huge slabs and he runs through that planer, it's got to be 5 or 6 feet wide. Have you ever seen that?
Wow. Yeah, ours isn't that. Yeah, ours is not that big. It's I think the biggest board we can do is about 20 inches.
Oh,
And then we have like a tongue and groove planer. That's pretty cool with the tongue and groove knives.
Yeah.
That's a cool planer. And it's always set up. Like we don't change it around or anything. That one's always like 1x4 tongue and groove. I'm trying to talk him into doing me some 1x6 tongue and groove, but no go so far.
PJ
Nice.
has a planer. Rick says planer. Sam's Warren Channel says got to be a planer. R.H. Harley guy says, hey, Sandy.
Hey, Harley.
Everybody likes Sandy.
Another
Okay.
Canadian.
Everyone built says a UK planer and a US planer, problem solved. So a UK planer is one that has the equivalent of a jointer on top of it, right? And then you could run underneath for a planer. Is that right, Everman? I'll let you answer unless you know, Sandy. I believe that's right.
I don't know. We in Canada here, like we actually have a 2-side planer where it'll do the top and the bottom.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not sure in the UK.
413 Furniture says planer. J&S Custom says I have both, but I'd rather have a planer. Miney Sawdust says planer. You can joint with a table saw. I think that is always been my opinion, that if you could get one of the sides flat, if you can use a sled and a planer to get one side flat, then use that as your base to flatten out in parallel to your other face, not side. And then you can use your table saw to plane the sides and have everything square. Damon says you can work around not having a joiner easier than you can work around not having a planer.
Yeah.
Our planer is your joiner. Our thicknesser is your planer. Okay. That makes sense.
All right.
Now tell me, Jack, do you go to the hospital or do you go to hospital? So I know you're on that side of the lake. All right. And Hillbilly Chic says, I think that's a big drum sander. Okay. Let's
Oh, I would love a big drum sander.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about that planer from what you mentioned, the wide one. He's thinking
okay.
drum sander.
Is that a drum sander? I was thinking it was some type of planer.
I would love a big drum sander like that.
Yeah.
Hashtag goals.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be sweet. All
right. Next question. What does MDF stand for? Keep all your answers clean, please. All right. A medium density flooring. B, medium density fiberboard. Or C, middle density fiberboard. And Damon says take a vacation or go on a holiday. Jack agrees to A&E. Blacktail, I think, is a drum sander. Okay. I was wrong. Hillbilly Chic says B. So does PJ and Damon and Monty Sawdust and 413 Furniture Builds. And what does Sandy say?
I'm going to go with the crowd. I'm going to go with B. But I'm telling you the truth, I don't really know. I think it's B, though.
Yeah, medium density fiberboard. It's great for what it is, but yeah, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's nothing like the wood that you're making at your sawmill.
Hey, you know what? I'm so cheap. Like a lot of times I dig some of that stuff out. People drop a lot of stuff off for the burn piles. Here we have big burn piles, so I will grab everything. I would use anything. And I'm a hoarder. I'm getting over it. Try not to hoard everything. I'm trying to use it up. But yeah.
All right. Next question. Would you rather work your
Would
current
you
job,
rather?
start your own business, or watch YouTube all day?
Oh, that gotta be B. I love having my own business. I can pick and choose when I work, what I work on. I love it. But YouTube is addictive. It's hard. But yeah, no, I still like B. I still like yeah, B.
I like that PJ and Damon both they went right in with C.
Right into C. That's it. We're doing this. We're doing this. Turn off the Hallmark movies. We're watching YouTube. Nice.
Rick says
What about
B.
you? What about you, RT?
You know, to me it's kind of a tricky question. It'd be easy to just watch YouTube all day, but I think I would get burned out just watching. So I think in the end, I would rather start my own business. I might do it at my own pace while I'm still working my current job for security, but I think that I enjoy the passion around it, you know, and even though my YouTube channel has been slow in growth, just the passion and camaraderie of building it up over time is inspiring to me. So I'm going to go with B.
Nice. There's just so many aspects. I never even thought like all the analytics and the statistics and building a website and all the tech and all the computer and all the video and there's just so many different. It's exciting. It's overwhelming but exciting.
Fun stuff. All right, Charlie Guy agrees with PJ. Damon says, you don't change the world by watching it. You change it by the way you choose to live in it. The
Wow.
Aeronauts, Amazon original movie.
I love
Nice.
that. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Keep inspiring me. PJ says, if it wasn't for football season, I wouldn't have cable.
Nice.
I understand. You know, football season is getting going. I know in different parts of the country, football season means different things to different people. So some people, whenever you say football season, they're talking about NFL. And whenever other people, you talk football season, they're talking college. And then there's a third group that is really just talking about their kids and their alma mater from high school. So what does football season mean to you? For me, every time I think of football season, I think of college football. And I think that's part of being in the South where college football is more important, but everywhere is different. You have football up in Canada, right?
Yeah. When I think about football, I think of like hockey or baseball.
Oh.
I'm not a big football watcher. I like tennis. I like baseball, hockey, but yeah. I'm sorry, I have to cut this short. I've got another meeting.
No problem.
It's been a great time, and I'm so glad to see you're feeling better.
Yes,
I'm
thank
glad
you
you're
very
back.
much.
Yay.
And thanks for joining me. We're not going to be here much longer.
Thank you, and God bless.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that was great. Thank you, Sandy, for that. So Tell me this: what is wood veneer? Is it the shine of furniture finish? Is it a lacquer coating on your projects? Is it a thin layer of hardwood? Or is it laminate? So, wondering what you think wood veneer is. "413 says roll tide." PJ says roll tide. Damon says we're not talking kickball. No, we're not talking about soccer. I wasn't, but as I was talking about it, I thought about soccer. That some people, whenever you say football, you're not talking about American football. So yeah, it means different things to different people. All right. Hillbilly Chic says C, a thin layer of hardwood. Damon Barber says D. R.A. Charlie Guy says we have the CFL, Canadian Football League. It's well underway. Many athletes start here. Yeah, they do. They do. Damon Barber says maybe C. 413 says C. Appalachian Heritage, which says a veneer can be a softwood as well as hardwood. I knew you would be the one to catch me on that, because after I put that in there, I was thinking, well, it's not just hardwood. It could be a thin layer of softwood, but I had already typed it up. So Appalachian Heritage, kudos to you. You know your stuff. PJ says, hope you don't mind if I mention a YouTube channel. It's not woodworking related. Adventures with a Purpose. They help find missing people using sonar for underwater. They have found around 24 so far. So, PJ, it's called Adventures with a Purpose. Let me see if I can look it up. So, I don't mind you sharing that at all. Adventures with a Purpose. All right, let me share this screen, PJ, and you tell me if this is right. Share screen. Come on. PJ, is this the correct screen? Is this the correct channel? So videos available exclusively for members. Adventures with a Purpose is an underwater sonar search and recovery dive team dedicated to helping families of missing loved ones for free. Click the join button to become a member. So if that is it, yeah, no problem mentioning that. Okay. So anybody interested, it's called Adventures with Purpose. They help find missing people using sonar for underwater. And it looks like they're doing a good job if they found 24 so far. For anybody in that predicament, closure is a wonderful thing. And so, yeah, I hope they're blessed in their endeavors. Damon, thank you for coming by. We are about to wrap it up. I'm going to share a couple of more slides real quick, and then we are going to call it a night. Share screen. You know, you have to click like 20 times to get this to work. So we did what is a wood veneer. Would you rather paint or stain? So whenever it comes to your projects and your woodworking, would you rather paint or would you rather use stain? PJ Barker says both. So be willing to likes doing both, painting and staining. For me, I prefer stain just because I like the end result. I like to see the grain and I like the colors that it adds to it. Painting projects has not been my thing. I think paint is very durable and protects the wood and can protect your project. And I have nothing against it. It just hasn't been my favorite. My sawdust says both. Depends what you're making. 413 says both. So Hillbilly Chic says, never been happy with the stain job I've done. Okay. So I really find that interesting. You know, so often I'd see comments online about, you know, don't paint it. You want to stain that. I really don't have a reason not to paint something if that's the finish you want. And I think it makes things very durable. Sam's Boring Channel says, got to be stained for me. So let me get y'all out of here. Our next guest, folks, is Rex Krueger. If you haven't checked out Rex's channel, go do it. Great stuff. Be on here on the 12th. I am next week is a holiday here. I'm still planning on doing a live stream, but it may be a little bit later. So we will see, and just look for the notifications to go up. In the meantime, I really do appreciate each and every one of you being here, and glad that you came back after having a few weeks off. And I'm just excited to be back in the mix, and really appreciate each and every one of you. But as for right now, I hear my wife calling. I gotta go.
You know there ain't another girl like her in the city. No, you know she looks so good, but she ain't so pretty. I feel this way, but I'm the ride, she's driving insane. And don't you know you oughta pump the brakes? I can't tell you why don't you let it go. I'm aligning and finally I'ma let you know you're somewhere in between my legs. Hey, you know there ain't another girl like her in the city. Yeah, you know she looks so good, but she ain't so pretty. I can't believe I wrote so long. With this whole time you riding me wrong. Don't you know you oughta take a risk, try your best, give it to me straight. And don't deny your reply, I don't wanna wait. We're at the end of the road, it's time to let go of everything. There ain't another girl like her in the city. No, you know she looks so good, but she ain't so pretty. So leave me alone before I end it up here on the phone with other reasons.
saw that there was a gap in the market.
I do think it's important. As much as I'm not really a fan of saying having the avatar behind the camera, I do think it helps to imagine that you're actually talking to somebody who will be watching the video. Sometimes it's easy to forget that you see numbers of people watching, but you forget that these are actual people watching your video on their phone or on their TV or wherever. And I think it's important to keep that in mind.